Welcome to All Gold Everything, a podcast for people who pick the red Skittles out of the bag.
Yes.
Yes. How are you, Sandy?
Good. Thank you for inspiring our podcast by me last week and my discovery of the red wild cherry Skittles in the purple bag.
There is nothing like it. There's nothing like it.
I'm still reeling
from this discovery.
Still reeling. But thank you.
Well, I'm excited for the show that we have tonight. We have tons of fun stuff to talk about. One of the things I'm stoked on is that our wardrobe this evening is provided by Adorn. You can always hit up www.shopadorn.com. You can use the promo code ALLGOLDPOD to get 10% off, plus they're doing free shipping this holiday season. So buy your denim. They sell like Seven, Citizen, Mother, all the nice denim. Get 10% off, get it shipped for free. Buy some jewelry, whatever.
All your stocking stuffers.
All your stocking
all
stuffers.
The cute little
scarves.
Get
your Steven Tyler on. This kimono robe is exceptional.
It's heaven.
It's amazing. We're going to post some full shots of it after the show.
I feel like
amazing.
I need it.
It's like the weight of it makes me feel really rich.
Yeah, you look really rich. And you look really rich if you were wearing it at home in front of your fireplace, smoking a cigarette out of like a holder.
Oh, shit.
That like you hold it like this.
Yeah,
and you just do that.
And if I was maybe naked too,
Not
if
like
I just was like
a cigarette.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Because we're sober.
It's amazing. That's right.
Not be a joint.
Well, it wouldn't be. But if you were not sober and you wanted to smoke a joint in this, then you really would maybe feel like Steven Tyler.
Yeah, you would need the holder though to smoke it.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. So last week we did an episode that was where the focus was about call out culture.
Yeah.
Okay. And as our listeners know, as you know, a lot of times what I do in order to build our listener base is anyone that follows us on Instagram, I go ahead and I send them a link to our show.
Oh, I have thoughts about this. It came up later, actually. I'm going to get real about how I feel about this.
Okay, that's good. Our listeners want to know how you... Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. So here's what happened. So, the message that I send is usually really sweet because it's like a random... It's like the dick pic of messages from us. Mm-hmm. So basically it just says like, hi, thanks for the follow. I always put their name in.
It's a very non-offensive dick.
So nice.
It's like a tiny little dick. And a big old wide shot.
Yeah. It's like you couldn't even tell. Yeah. So it usually goes like, hi, fill in the blank, whatever your name is. Thanks for the follow. I co-host a podcast with my best friend, Sandy. It's called All Gold Everything. Here's a link to our most recent episode about fill in the blank. Now, the episode that I sent to this woman 2 weeks ago now was about step parenting. So it said, here's a link to this week's episode. It's about step parenting. Hope you have an opportunity to listen and enjoy it. XOXO or whatever,
Very non-offensive.
Pretty nice, I have to say. Like,
You're just
really
a nice person.
Not whatever. So this chick messages me back, and she's like, I just want you to know that there's no pictures of kids on my feed. I have no discussion of parenting on my feed. And I've been struggling with infertility for years, and this just hurt me in the heart and caused me a tremendous amount of heartache. So next time, you should be more thoughtful about what you send.
I really hope she listened to our episode about call-out culture.
I hope she did too.
Somebody's parents took really good care of her.
Yeah. So I just was like, whoa. And now, so immediately I wanted to respond and be like, oh my God, you are such a maniac. You didn't even, our step parenting segment, that podcast lasted like maybe 15 or 20 minutes. There was so much other stuff in the podcast. Right. And so that was the first thing. Like, obviously you didn't listen to it. And then secondly, like, I'm sorry, do you really think that I'm going to go through every single person's feed and look at all of their pictures and assess whether, like, this is the dick pic of promotion. So
small penis, wide shot. Taboo.
So I love that I get to send it to a lot of people. I like that at the very least, like I do it on my own. We don't have like a robo service that sends it out, but like, I'm sorry, I'm not reading every single profile to understand every single person's struggle with everything.
Right. Well, but how did I miss like the bigger thing going on here, which is it's an episode about step parenting.
No, it's not.
Not parenting. You can go out and have step kids still.
Yeah, we did talk about that. In fact, if you're struggling with infertility, you might find yourself being a step parent.
Yeah,
which is awesome.
Like, do the math.
Yeah, I
mean, math is hard.
Math is hard. So I didn't say either.
When you're offended.
When you're offended, math gets really hard.
Especially when you're being bullied.
Yes, it's true. And so I paused. Excuse me.
It's good that you paused.
I paused because I was a little agitated and I wasn't really sure what I was going to send back. And I did end up sending her back a message just to say like that I appreciated her feedback and that I would be more mindful in the future. I'm not entirely sure that that's honest because I'm not sure how much more mindful I'm going to be. But that I didn't mean to, I really honestly did not mean to cause her any heartache. I just think she might have overreacted a little bit. So.
Yeah, she was tripping.
Yeah, so I got called out. It didn't feel good.
Well, one thing that means that you've arrived.
Boom.
Because when you start getting haters on the internet, it's really a sign of prosperity.
Haters gonna hate, potatoes gonna potate.
Yeah, and two, she didn't like actually understand what the episode was about either, right?
No,
like
right.
just like
Yeah.
you didn't deep dive into her social media.
That's
She
right.
did not
She
even
did not
deep dive into what the episode was about.
Click the yes button.
Yeah,
so that was interesting.
So what a waste of time.
So the other thing that I wanted to talk about is that last week, as you know, there was like a huge earthquake in Alaska.
Yes.
So it was like a 7.5 magnitude
all
earthquake.
I know.
That's all anyone
all
really
I
knows.
know.
Apparently it was a 7.5 magnitude earthquake that and it was in Anchorage, which is like the most we play fast and loose with the facts here, but I think Anchorage is the most populated city in Alaska. Do you know that? Mark,
So,
do you know Anchorage?
I watched this incredibly chilling movie called what's it called? Something the Dark.
Sounds scary.
Dark. But it was set in Alaska, and they referred to Anchorage as like not like it's not even Alaska. It's like it's more like Los Angeles, and so I think that it is probably the most populated because Alaskans. What I'm trying to get at, is Alaskans don't even consider Anchorage a part of Alaska
because it's so populous.
different than the rest of Alaska.
Okay,
because of population, and it's a city and yada,
so
yada.
that's interesting because
Hold the dark. Trigger warning.
What's triggering about it? Like all the is it a sex trigger? Is it a trauma trigger? Is it like an explosion
it's a trauma trigger? Like anybody who has ever been involved or actually been afraid by mass shootings, trigger warning.
Trigger warning. Don't watch it. I will not be watching it. I don't like watching anything that's even remotely scary.
It is the most intense mass shooting scene I have ever seen in my life.
Whoa.
Hold the dark.
Okay.
Terrifying. I wouldn't watch it again.
Okay.
I wouldn't recommend it.
I'm not going to watch it.
I'm freaking out.
You're getting triggered right now. I know. I'm like, oh my God. Okay, so I'll bring it back to the earthquake, which will be. Let's dial it down to the earthquake. Okay, so anyway, so there was a 7.5 magnitude earthquake centered in Anchorage, and the Anchorage. The people there were like so prepared that there was absolutely no loss of life, which is like miraculous in an earthquake of this size. But there was like, I think a lot of people are familiar with this picture. There was a lot of damage to infrastructure. So there's this picture that was on CNN of like part of a freeway that had just like sunk it down that had a car in it. You're shaking your head. You saw it. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, everyone was like, we will rebuild Alaska, blah, 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 whatever. Okay. I just want you to know that freeway has already been fixed.
Dang, homie.
Something is going right in Alaska because I'm just saying I've been driving over the same 75 million potholes to get here every week for the last like 3 years. And like, I don't know what it takes to get a pothole fixed in Portland, but in Alaska, you can have an earthquake and it's fixed next week.
I read an article today on Willamette Week about Ted Wheeler.
Yeah.
And apparently he's having a really hard time doing his job.
Yeah.
So this is just speaking to what you are speaking to. So I don't know who the mayor of Anchorage is, or God forbid the governor.
Yeah, the governor is no longer Sarah Palin, so that's
okay.
Good.
That got real scary.
Yeah. But the governor there did declare a state of emergency. And anyway, so now this major infrastructure thing is fixed. So check.
So they've got
done and done.
Good government.
On to the next. I will say, though, I was a little nervous. You know that I'm terrified of earthquake. I'm waiting for the big one here.
Yeah, well, because you live in the liquefaction zone.
I live in the liquefaction zone.
I like liquefaction.
Thank you, Sandy. That makes me feel so much more comfortable. Yeah, that's true.
Vaporized.
That's true. In my former work, I used to work with a guy who did like all the maps in the city of Portland. And he was like, oh, where do you live? And then he like pulled out this giant earthquake map. And it was like all of the stuff in the red is the stuff that's going to be liquefied. And the red turned to orange like at the curb outside my house. So I was like, how accurate do you think this map is? Do you think they like built a buffer zone in and it like won't even actually come near my house? Or do you think this is like exact, like my house will be on like beachfront property now or what? Yeah. But anyway,
or they rounded a few numbers and it actually includes your house. You know, rounding can fuck you up.
That's what I'm saying.
And
that's
I would
why
hate for you to learn a hard lesson about rounding.
That's why I feel like
I'm liquefied.
I need to know. I need to know how accurate the map is. Accuracy and precision matter.
It does. It does. But you know what? People actually are shitty at their jobs. So I just really hope the people who made this map.
Don't even think that I didn't think that when he pulled it out too, going like, oh my God, I know what kind of worker you are. He was actually pretty good, but I know what kind of government worker I am.
Yeah. I mean, he was real good. He was great.
It was great. So anyway,
really good job.
I had to wonder about the accuracy of that and whether or not I will survive an earthquake. But the other thing is then, of course, I went out and like opened up and got I pulled out all my credit cards out of my freezer and I went out to Fred Meyer and I bought like 6 different earthquake kits.
Oh, why 6?
Well, like they say you're supposed to have one in your car, you should have one in your house, you should have one outside your house. So I was exaggerating, about 3.
Okay.
But I didn't really buy like a kit. I bought like all the stuff for it.
Yeah.
And then
the Red Cross they sell really cool pre-made kits.
They do. And I should have just grabbed one of those. But instead I was like, well, like if we're in an earthquake and everything's gone, like I want to make sure that I have some Snickers bars. Like I want to make sure I have some candy. Like I want to, I don't want to just be eating beans and rice for months and months and months and months. I want to have a little bit of variety.
Months and what are you dreaming up
here?
I
don't know.
What are you thinking?
That's what they're saying though.
Know what? When I was like a adolescent, I used to have like my first like romantic, I'm going to say romantic fantasies were like about being like trapped in an earthquake with some hot guy. And because we were trapped, he decided he wanted me romantically. I mean, they were sexual fantasies. Let me just be really direct about what this really was.
It was amazing.
Yeah, but there was always a natural disaster.
What kind? I want to know what kind of natural disaster now. Like was it earthquake?
Yeah.
Sometimes because that's like trapped and like maybe you're in like a little space.
Yeah,
and it's cozy.
It required a cave. There had to be a cave where we were just stuck, just me and Hottie.
I love it.
Stuck in a cave.
I like it.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of, no, this is not even a speaking of. I'm shifting us gears a little bit.
Okay.
I was looking through some stuff today, and I discovered that today is the 10-year anniversary of Heidi and Spencer eloping on the hills.
Oh.
Were you ever a fan of Spidey?
Well, I wouldn't say I was a fan of Spidey. But I'm very aware of them. I'm more of a fan of Spencer now that he's into crystals and butterflies. Yeah. I just think that's just so cute. But no, I think that he was like the first Kanye, right?
Yeah.
A little bit manic.
Oh, yeah.
Super arrogant.
Oh, yeah.
And just pissed everybody off.
Oh, Sandy, I like it.
And I was younger then, so I didn't have like the maturity to like really see it for what it was. I don't know that there's a ton of like genius behind that. I haven't seen that from Spencer Pratt. However.
But he's like living his damn life out there. I mean, he's still making lots of money, right? And buying crystals and doing the thing.
Yeah, well, apparently he was like involved in like the whole birth of either the Hills or Laguna Beach or whatever it was. So he was I think that he did have some brain power into that, and it did become a really big deal.
Yeah, a lot of people made a lot of fucking money doing that show.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Now, who I really liked was LC, just because I just thought I just liked her style. I liked her hair. I liked her clothes.
She had beachy waves.
Yeah. Yeah, she had straight hair too, though, a lot, I think.
I did not watch much of it. I feel like I was spending a lot of time drinking in bars while The Hills was on.
Yeah.
Not too much watching of it. But Spencer and Heidi have always been pretty intriguing to me because they have always been like a celebrity-ish couple that has like kind of poked at the media and like had varying levels of success with that. So anyway.
And they're still together.
Whether they really want to be or not. I don't know. I mean, who knows?
Oh, I think they want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I do. I think he is in love with her and he is committed to her. And in his committed to her, he is committed to her career. Like what is that? You know, that song, that killer song, Andy, You're a Star in Nobody's Eyes But Mine? That's them.
I don't know that song, but I do know that the Killers are one of the most prolific bands in the history of the world. I think every song's by the Killers.
Andy, you're a star.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a really good song. But and then he says, in nobody's eyes but mine. And I think that's Spencer and Heidi. Like, I think that he is just committed to making her famous.
Yeah, like a number one super fan.
And he sees in her what nobody else does. Kind of like Joey with me.
Oh, he's your Spencer.
He's my Spencer Pratt.
Is that? I mean, that might be a thing. We could, but I feel like he's better than Spencer Pratt. I don't know. I don't know why I think that.
I mean, I don't know Spencer that well.
No, he could call in though. Spencer, call us.
I personally think Joey's better, but nobody else has to. In fact, I don't want anyone else to. Fuck you, bitches. Stay away from my man. You don't think he's better than Spencer Pratt? He's mine.
He's yours. Everybody back off Sandy's man. Dial it back. In the same vein of this Heidi and Spencer story, Lindsay Lohan has reemerged this week.
Oh,
So
that bitch is crazy.
So Lindsay Lohan is hosting a new show that is dropping January 8th, and it is called Lindsay Lohan's Beach Club Party or something.
Oh my God. Oh, this hurts. Like, I'm actually a little embarrassed.
So
for
this
her.
films in Mykonos in Greece, and it's like Lindsay apparently was like, well, everyone thinks that I go to clubs all the time and like spend my whole life there anyway, so I figured like I should just own one. So now apparently she's like an entrepreneur club owner in Greece, and like is having like some pretty good success. Like regular people come to the Lindsay Lohan beach club party or whatever, and like give her all their money. And in something that I thought was kind of a funny misunderstanding, let's call it, she was trying to do some charity work in Greece because she's like got a big heart or whatever.
Is this where she chased that poor refugee child around?
Yes, honey. Yes.
You call that a misunderstanding? I call that a psychotic break.
Okay, I will tell you that Vice.com was reporting it as a misunderstanding. I don't know many of the details of it other than what I read, which was that they were framing it like she was trying to help this kid and she reached out and grabbed a refugee child and then got slapped by two of the kid's parents or something because like she
tried to take the child with her.
Yeah, okay. That's a critical piece of the story that I had missed.
She was going to give it a better life.
She was planning to adopt.
A la Michael Jackson.
Madonna.
And yeah, and then they
Angelina
finally.
Jolie.
I actually saw the video, and then she finally got smacked by the mother because she was chasing them because they were like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
This is my kid. Yeah, we're refugees, but we're a family.
Yeah, we're doing it. It's okay. Yeah.
Can't take my kid. You can give us money, but don't take my kid. And so like they were trying to fend her off, but she was so like aggressively trying to take this kid that they decided to pick up and leave.
Whoa.
So she started chasing them.
Oh my God.
And that's when she got slapped.
Can you imagine anything more terrifying than like a strung out Lindsay Lohan chasing you in her giant platform heels and like her huge pumped up lips and her whole camera crew?
It's just, it just shows like, it's so hard because like you can go, well, she's just so out of touch, but we also know she's sick.
Yeah. That was actually one of the interesting things that this Vice article mentioned, that there is some space and opportunity for these reality these reality platforms that people like Lindsay Lohan are on to potentially address some of the like more real stuff that happens for them, potentially like maybe mental illness or addiction or whatever. And that like, unfortunately, this just gets glossed into like her new thing. Now, so since she's got the beach club thing going in Greece, her charity service endeavor project kidnapping came off the wrong way. The next thing she's got going on is she's going to be opening a Lindsay Lohan branded island in your favorite spot.
Where's my favorite spot?
Dubai.
Oh, good Lord. Is this going to be like that fire festival?
Oh my God, the fire festival.
Because this screams fire
festival. It does, right? Where everyone's just going to hand over their money and Lindsay's going to be like, yeah, go to this island. And then they'll get there and it will just be a mound of
just
sand.
Wild boars running around shitting. And it's like, I stepped in boar shit. What the fuck? Or whatever they are. Were they pigs?
Pigs, wild boars.
Yeah.
So who knows? I can only hope really that the Lohan branded island goes the way of the fire festival. It would only be
people I don't know. I don't know how bad people suffered from that, honestly. I don't know if it was just rich people that were like, oh, I'm stuck and I have to sit in an airport for 48 hours.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know how bad the suffering was. I don't remember. But what just to like touch on what you said about reality shows and addiction, Lindsay Lohan did have a reality show. And it followed her getting out of rehab and moving into her own apartment in New York with a sober coach and trying to live a sober life. It got cut short because she never wanted to get sober.
Oh, right.
She wasn't filming. She was drinking, using, and not opening the door for the cameras.
Shoot.
And it was really sad because it was like one of those things where, you know, when you have this machine behind you, because it's the Lohan machine, and I'm sure that she has a big part in that too. But when we're sick, you know, what's our part? And so like she's going through the motions, and they're telling her she has to get sober, and she doesn't want to get sober. No, and so she's now
train wreck.
Now she has a sober coach living with her, and cameras following her, and she doesn't want to get sober, but she's saying she does because that's what she has to do to get out of rehab, to get a gig.
Yeah,
and it was just like a nightmare. It was kind of a good thing that they just cut cut it off halfway through. I think it was on Oprah's channel.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can find that this week.
Yeah.
One of the other things that's kind of in this vein of like a rolling dumpster fire is that I read recently that the hottest place to get a drink in Midtown Manhattan. Now, mind you, I mean, this would not be something that we would necessarily be partaking in, but I still like the idea
in that kimono, I think you might
maybe. I still like to be out on the scene. I still like to have, something good to eat or like a soda water or something. Okay, so anyway,
not me.
The hottest.
I'm depressed.
Oh, God. I was just going to say the best depression eyes I've ever seen.
No joy.
So apparently reports are coming in
puppy.
that the hottest place in Midtown Manhattan to get a drink these days is the Midtown Manhattan Taco Bell. Which made me laugh because I remember Taco Bell in Las Vegas being lit as fuck.
Yeah, I don't remember it that way, and we were just there.
I know we were just there,
ago.
And I feel
no, it was. We were.
It was totally
outside.
lit. There were people.
Yeah.
People were dancing. Everyone was nuts.
It was Club Taco Bell.
It was Club Taco Bell.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was totally.
It's true.
I believe it.
It
So I
was.
believe it. I
Yeah.
believe that if Taco Bell in Midtown Manhattan can serve drinks, it is probably like fucking fire out there. I don't know.
I don't know. The Taco Bell in Milwaukee is pretty fresh. Like,
I wonder.
Are my confessions. I go to Taco Bell after we podcast. I get my boo a 7-layer burrito. I will be there tonight. I will be dancing.
There you go. Be careful. I mean, our fans might show up if you tell them where you're going to be on the regular. Speaking of that, every week before the show,
That would be amazing.
That would be awesome. Please come to the Milwaukee Taco Bell to say hello to Sandy after the show.
And bring us gifts to give to Mark.
Yes,
he deserves
and
them.
he likes cash. Cash rules everything.
Who doesn't like cash?
Cash rules everything around Mark. Cream. Yes. And me.
Yes.
And Sandy. All of us.
All of us.
We're all cogs in the wheel. Or something.
We're all suckers. We're all suckers to the design.
Okay, so speaking of regular, speaking of
lie.
money and regular habits, I always go to 7-Eleven before the show to pick us up wild berry Skittles, Diet Cokes, and a couple of Powerball tickets. Now, tonight, I did not win Powerball. I don't know if Sandy won last week.
Oh, I didn't check my ticket.
I don't think you did. You might have won a small prize, but the big prize is still up for grabs, so the jackpot's
But is it
getting
because
bigger.
I haven't zapped my ticket yet? Is why it's still up for grabs?
No, because the machine knows if it's sold a ticket with winning numbers.
That's some bullshit. It's rigged. Fuck that.
Oh, shit. So
Did you get Powerball or Mega Millions tonight?
I got Mega Millions. I've been getting Mega Millions because by the time I get there at 7:00 on Wednesday, or 7:30 on Wednesdays, 7-ish on Wednesdays,
Okay.
The
We're gonna be
Powerball drawing's already
millionaires.
underway.
Gotcha.
So we're going to be Mega Millionaires. Okay. So, anyway, I pulled up to the 7-Eleven and like all the lights were out at 7-Eleven. Like their sign was out, like
You have
lights
the
above it.
best
I was just
7-Eleven
like,
stories.
it was so creepy. So then I was the only car in the parking lot I pulled up, but there were people inside. So I was like, okay, I'll go in. And I went in and there was a woman standing at the counter who was very distinctive looking, and she left.
Wait, whoa. I can't let you just get off with that. What do you mean distinctive looking?
Well, she had like a green hat and a beige coat. It was like here's why I noticed is that I saw her because she was the only person in the store. She's got this green beanie hat on and a cream coat. And I'm always, because I wish that I was a detective, I feel like I'm always doing stuff like soaking in details. Like sometimes I'll hear a weird noise and I'll look at my clock so I know exactly what time it is that I heard the noise, so that when the police come to my house to ask me where, what time it was, I'll go, oh, that was at exactly 10:08. I remember because I looked at the clock when I heard the noise.
Oh, damn, girl.
I know. I'm like ready to be the best witness ever.
No, the reason I asked is because it's like if somebody's like, oh, hey, yeah, that was interesting. You don't know, do they mean like interesting good, interesting bad?
Honestly, there wasn't that much about her that was like
So when you
distinctive
said
except for the hat, I guess.
Yeah, distinctive. I was like, oh, was
Yeah.
it like an elephant in a gown? Like,
No, she was like,
was it a clown?
she was like a 35-year-old white lady with a short bob and a green beanie and a cream coat.
Okay.
But I noticed her because she was like, I pulled in, all the lights were out except for the lights in the store. She was at the store standing at the counter with the little guy, and then I went in and got all the stuff, and then I came out, and as I was coming out, I looked up in the car. I'm in the car, I'm facing the shop, I'm facing 7-Eleven, and she's at the counter again. And it was very strange.
What was this distinctive woman doing?
I felt like I time looped or something. I felt like it was related to the fact that none of the lights were on. It was like I felt like I was in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, something very strange.
It's very scary.
It was weird. I don't know why I started telling that story, but I do know that it is time for us to plead with our listeners.
Dear listeners,
because
we love you.
And I don't know how the rest of it goes. I needed you. What happened to you? Okay, we
just
need
like
you.
one-liners.
Listeners, we love you and we want to help you fix your life. We want to help you set your shit right. So we need you to DM us. We need you to DM us on Instagram, DM us on Facebook, send us an email. Send us an email to
allgoldpod.com. Oh, wait, just kidding. Don't do that. It's goldengirls@allgoldpod.com.
There we go. Golden Girls, multiple at
allgoldpod.com.
There you go.
Yes.
Or
I
you-
got half of it.
The other thing you can do is you can go to our website, allgoldpod.com, and you can submit a question
That's
directly.
what I meant.
That's what Sandy was talking about.
That's what I meant.
So
you
anyway,
can fill out the form. It's really easy.
super duper easy. We want to help you in whatever. Love.
We're really good at love.
We're so good at love. It's true. We want to help you with finances.
I'm not good at finances.
I mean,
don't ask me about that.
Like we're no Susie Orman.
No, ask Susie Orman about your finance questions.
We want to help you.
You can ask Heidi.
We want to help you navigate your like work relationship stuff. I mean,
just any type of relationship stuff we will nail. Any other life stuff we'll do really, really well at, just because like we know how to do that shit too.
That's true.
I mean, we do.
We do.
But and here's the
pros.
thing, like a lot of people don't. I'm just saying, and it's okay if that's you. Like you don't have to like let your pride get in the way of sending us a damn question.
That's right. You can keep it anonymous. You can keep it anonymous. We won't even call you out unless you want us to. If you're looking for some quick fame, we did have 1,100 listens this week. So
yeah. If you want to send a picture, we'll post.
We will. But not a dick pic. We will not post a dick pic.
We're not that kind of podcast.
No, we're not that kind of podcast. Okay, so the other thing, last week we talked a little bit about TV, and I just started watching this show, Maniac. Are you watching this at all?
I haven't even heard of that one.
Okay, it's on Netflix. It's only like a 10-episode series, and it's so weird. It's like kind of sci-fi-y. Are you watching it all, Mark? No, Mark's shaking his head no. Anyway, it has Jonah Hill, a so thin he is almost unrecognizable Jonah Hill.
Yeah.
And Emma Stone are these two main characters, and they're in this drug trial. And they are like, it's like a drug trial where you like take a pill and then you like, you go to sleep, and like there's a computer that monitors your electromagnetic brainwaves or whatever. And they keep like meeting each other while they're in this dreamlike state. So they have this like, their lives are interwoven in this throughout this trial. And it's like kind of weird because it's supposed to be in the future, but it uses all like old technology. Like all of the technology that's in the movie is like old Macs and old. It's like, anyway, it's
all like highly stylized.
Yeah, highly stylized. Anyway, it's pretty fascinating. I've only come across one episode that's really gory, but it's I saw something refer to it as a comedy. I don't know that I would call it a comedy.
Doesn't sound like a comedy.
No, it's like.
But Jonah Hill's funny.
He is funny, but he's serious in this. And the kind of thing that's cool is that in every episode they're in a different dream state. So like in one episode they're like old timey magicians, and in another episode they're like in a oh my god, what is it, like the Hobbit fiction, like what do they call that? I guess like sci-fi Comic-Con kind of stuff. Might have just alienated a whole segment of people with that. Anyway, it's really
Dubai.
Dubai. Let's talk about Dubai. We didn't even get into your Dubai rant. I moved us through that so quickly.
Well, I was just like, since like you totally fucked up describing whatever this genre is.
Yeah, I did. That's true.
I just thought if I just like yelled Dubai, I could just like bring it all back.
Yes, you could.
It could be like they're in Dubai.
They were
like, you guys aren't gonna watch it anyway. They were in Dubai.
They're in Dubai.
Yeah.
Speaking of a place that's not in Dubai, you are getting ready to run the Wildwood Trail in Forest Park from end to end.
Yeah.
Give us an update on what's going on with that. You're getting ready. You just started this week.
I ran 5 miles.
Yes, basically. This is a 35-mile run you'll be doing.
Yeah, no, for real though. So I got about, I don't know, 12 to 15 takers on the offer I made a couple podcasts ago about training together in a group fashion for this Wildwood End to End run. It'll be a 50-kilometer run from one end of Wildwood in Forest Park, Portland, Oregon, to the other end. That's why it's called end to end. Not end to end to end. Because that would be fucked up.
Whoa, that'd be crazy. I'd never thought about. Somebody probably has done that, huh?
Of course.
Yeah.
Naturally. Anyway, so sent out a training plan. It is officially week 1, and it is Wednesday of week 1. So 2 runs and some strength work under my belt. Yes. Following the plan so far, day 3 in.
Good.
Following the plan, feeling good. It's cold out.
It is cold. It's fucking windy too. It's been cold and windy this week.
Yeah, so it's like that. Okay, now I remember what this is like. I do it even though I don't want to do it.
Well, I have to tell you that I am not committing to running the 35-mile race. race because it's just not my jam. It's not a race, but to doing 35 miles.
Oh, we're gonna race.
Sandy will be racing.
No, just kidding.
But I am committing to being a cheerleader and to providing snacks and also to providing glitter signs because that's like right in my wheelhouse.
And you're gonna run a piece of it.
Yeah, I will be running a piece of it. So Jeff and I were talking about it, and his daughter, I was trying to sell her on running a piece of it, and she was like, and I was like, not even like a mile, and she's like, and I was like, okay, well, you can hold glitter signs with me. So she and I are going to be cheerleading on
That'll be
and
super
providing
fun.
cookies and stuff. I don't know, Oreos,
Yeah, it'll be
Skittles.
super fun.
Maybe oh my God, if I love you, which I do, maybe I will have an entire bowl of only the red Skittles from the wild berry pack just for you.
It'd be hard to eat with running because it takes time to chew them.
Okay, well, I tried.
No, taking the pressure off you. Totally taking the pressure off you. The magic bullet is at Germantown Road, which will be mile 25. If there's like one Oreo cookie and one small glass of Coca-Cola.
There we go. Those little 8-ounce mini cans.
Yep, that'll fire me down the road.
All right, that's good. That's awesome. Well, we're looking forward to that. That's going to be great.
Yeah.
What else? Anything else?
No. I do want to ask you something.
Yes.
When you were a young lass, in your 20s, I guess it
Ooh,
would be.
who could remember such a blur? I already can tell you the answers. I don't know.
I think it would be late 20s, though.
Okay.
Did you watch, and this would probably be out of your, because it was like ABC, like must-see TV. Did you watch Sabrina the Teenage Witch?
I did not. But I've been thinking about it lately because of this reboot of Sabrina. What's the new one called?
It's like the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Yes. Are you watching it?
Yeah, we just started it.
Is it good for kids?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
It is dark AF.
Ooh.
So because I had a child, a must-see TV age child, we watched Sabrina the Teenage Witch when it was like on like the real television.
On primetime.
On like network television back when we watched that. And it was like they had this like animatronic cat.
Yeah.
And the witches did silly things. And Sabrina was in high school.
Oh, and the one witch was so funny. Rhea, what's her name? The little blonde. I mean, were they all blonde?
Yeah, they were all blonde.
She was like a little heavier and blonde, and she was adorable.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they both were nice witch ants was basically the premise.
God, I just want to be a nice witch ant.
Yeah, it is dark.
I just want my life to be. That's life goals for me.
Dark AF.
Whoa.
Yeah, but so as an adult, because we were just out of things to watch, so I was like, oh, why don't we try this? Like it was a stretch because we tried to watch Dark, not Hold the Dark. Trigger warning. Not Hold the Dark. Dark. Which is like a true crime type of thriller, but it's German and dubbed, and it's hard to watch.
No,
Don't
thanks.
watch that shit. So we bailed on that, and now we're just on to the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, and it's like fun and dark as fuck. It's like devil worshipping, and
I'm gonna have to watch it. I feel like Marissa's gonna need to watch this. I need to check in with her, see if she's watching it.
Yeah, it's it kind of reminds me of Charmed a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah. Anyway.
I watched like one episode of Charmed because it's too scary.
Oh,
for me.
Then don't watch the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
I don't know. I don't do scary stuff at all, even remotely.
I do think that this could be scary. I mean, it's essentially about the devil. And the devil does some fucked up shit. I mean, if you believe in that shit. The devil does some fucked up shit.
Especially in Sabrina, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know the devil. I don't know in real life. I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah. The devil could be cool. I'm not trying to turn off any listeners.
Sandy's walking it back on the devil right now.
I don't know the devil is what
Honestly,
I'm saying.
this is not where I saw this podcast going tonight, and I love that so much. I'm so here for it.
I don't know the devil.
No, you don't. You know a lot of people, though.
I do know
Popular lady, but you don't know the devil.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
I like 3 people.
But you know a lot of people.
Yeah, but I like 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm like, who's the third? I'm like... I know one has to be Joey.
I only know 2.
I'm assuming that one has to be me.
Yeah, no,
but I don't know.
That's the best response. Well,
I don't know.
Who's the third? There's only 2, Sandy. I think you only like 2 people.
So tonight,
another sign of depression. PSA for you guys out there.
I love that you're constantly putting a face to depression, Sandy. I was thinking about my response to it last week. How I was like, well, you don't look like you're depressed, and how uninformed and like not woke that is, like how napping that is.
I was waiting to call you
out. So I just like that you're continuing to power through and remind people that you are the face of depression. That yes, this is what depression looks like. And that you're willing to get up every day and like do your damn job, even though you're struggling with chronic depression.
True that.
So, PSA, we are saving lives here. We're playing fast and loose with our facts and saving lives by putting a face to chronic depression.
Yeah.
Okay. So, our main topic for this evening is one that you thought of that I really, really like. I can't wait to talk about more.
Okay.
You're saying, oh, like you're disappointed.
I'm like, oh.
Wait a minute. I got to look at Mark. Do we need to plug anything? Do we need to switch to a card at all? I don't know if we have anything else that we need to say. We're all right. Mark says we're all right.
He's just still getting over what I said about the devil. He's totally pissed at me. Sorry, Mark.
Sorry, Mark.
Yeah, well, so I guess I'll just start off the topic by telling the truth.
Tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
Tell the truth, Ruth.
So I got a text message from my kid, and my kid was like, "Oh, you got to listen to this podcast. It reminds me a lot of your podcast, right?"
Oh, that's so sweet. That's so nice.
It was a podcast called Small Doses with Amanda Seals.
Hey, girl.
And I hadn't heard of this podcast, but like I was kind of on fire when I started listening to it because she's like people don't like the truth. And it's hard for them to hear.
That's right up your alley.
Yeah, I know. I'm
She's
like, girl,
singing your song.
But it's a one-woman podcast, and when you've already talked about like the challenges of podcasting alone,
I think it would be so hard. And I love to hear myself talk.
Yeah, I mean, this woman, she does have a lot to say. I mean, she is essentially like us and why we started this podcast. Or I'll speak for myself.
No, you can throw me in there.
I really relate to why she started her podcast because she has shit to say and she has a lot of truth to say. And but she calls it small doses because people like can only take so much truth in small doses. I'm like, no, people can't even fucking take small doses.
I'm like, give it to them an hour at a time.
Yeah.
Sprinkle some Lindsay Lohan gossip in there too. Be all set.
Sorry, I was thinking about sex. When you said give it to him an hour at a time, my mind went into the gutter.
I like that.
And then I started pounding my fist on my hand. It was really weird. I blacked out for a minute.
Yes.
So I listened to the podcast and so her first podcast was about the difference between confidence and arrogance.
Yeah.
And it was interesting to hear her take on it. One, because it was a one-woman podcast. And two, because, she's young and she's got a lot of shit to say, but she doesn't have the same kind of perspective that you and I have.
Speaking of young, I have to interrupt.
Yeah. I mean, we're young too. I'm not saying we're old.
No, but this is entirely different.
You're so fucking serious right now.
It's the most serious I've been in a long time. The Danish guy from 2 weeks ago who was contesting his age with the Danish court, he lost his battle this week officially. They're requiring him to go on Tinder as his actual age, 65, not 45. Yeah.
Keep it real.
That's right. Keep it real.
Keep it real.
It's important. That was important as fuck.
I mean, seriously, Danish man, I totally believe, like, fuck what they say, do you, but do your age, too.
Yeah, do your age.
Be you.
Age appropriate.
You're going to find the love of your life. I promise. But
you would if you called us.
You do need to call us.
Yeah, you do. We're so funny. Oh my God. Okay. So she had some interesting views on confidence versus arrogance, particularly because of the fact that she's a little younger than us.
So, but what I did, I like took it and I was like, oh, okay, well, that was really interesting. And I think with Heidi and I would approach it a little differently. But then I found myself chatting later with my boo and I'm like, what is even arrogance? Like, what really even is arrogance? And what is the difference between confidence and arrogance? Because the main thing that I kind of got stuck on was she kind of took this approach, which I do agree with, that like confidence is quiet and arrogance is loud. But I think that there's so much more to confidence than just being quiet. And
I feel like that's an
loud.
Oversimplification.
Yeah.
There's a little more complexity to this issue.
Yeah. So in the course of time, I've just like had so many thoughts about it.
Yeah.
So let's do it.
Well, I mean, we talked about this the other day. We were shopping. And so we did a little pre-chat about it. And I will say that kind of just off the cuff, I feel like confidence is an internal thing, which doesn't necessarily have to be quiet, but it's just like it is related to how I feel, how I view the world, and it kind of stops at the end of my nose. And I feel like arrogance is an external thing where it's like I have some thoughts about it, and now I have to tell everyone about those thoughts. And so there's like a difference in kind around like where the energy is. So like I feel like confidence has a lot of internal energy. It's just about like settling and knowing who you are. And like for me, knowing who I am includes knowing that I'm loud, that I'm can be annoying sometimes, that I have a lot of extroverted energy. and all of that. But all of that is related to my internal acceptance of like, these are aspects of my personality. This is part of who I am, and I'm okay with that. I accept that and love that. And then I think that arrogance is related to like, oh, I have these thoughts about X, Y, and Z, and everyone needs to know them, and so I must externalize them. And so when we were talking about it the other day, the best thing that I could get to it, the closest I could get to it was like talking about it like mansplaining seems to me like a pretty good kind of catch-all for arrogance.
Yeah.
But I feel bad for I kind of even feel bad for using that terminology. So that's kind of where I started off with it at.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people don't feel bad with using the terminology mansplaining because the white male is the most hated. The most hated.
They do a lot of explaining.
So you can get away with that.
You know what?
I don't think anyone's going to call you out on that one.
I will say that I over-explain a lot. I interrupt. I over-explain. And a lot of times...
You're not confident.
A lot of times I think that it's because I'm like, I'm tired of getting talked over myself. So I'm like, well, I'm just going to go ahead and I do not care.
Yeah.
I interrupt people all the time.
You know, that's a really interesting distinction. I don't want to jump too far ahead because what I need to go back to based on what you said is essentially that there's a level when you're talking about confidence versus arrogance. I would associate authenticity with confidence, right?
Yes.
Because if you know you can do you don't care, you're confident.
Totally.
If you are, and I do tend to associate, and you can tell me if this is right or wrong, I don't want to say low self-esteem, but maybe I do. Maybe I do
like,
want to say...
Or overcompensating for something.
Overcompensating with arrogance. Like, it's I think I'm the best in... I guess, here's the way I'm saying it. If I'm confident, then I am out here being the best version of myself. I'm confident because I'm out here being the best version of myself. If I'm arrogant, I'm out here trying to be the best in the world.
Right.
Like...
Or almost like the difference between like a zero-sum and a positive-sum game. So it's like... if I'm confident, I'm like, I'm going to do me, everyone do them, you do you, everyone can do themselves and be fine.
Yeah.
If I'm arrogant, it's like, oh, I'm doing me and it's at the expense of you.
Yeah.
Like there's only so much greatness and I want to get all the greatness.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like a zero-sum level of greatness or whatever.
Right. So with authenticity, I guess what I'm saying is I know me. I know me well enough to like really like me.
Yeah.
And that's really good. And I think the other is I have to prove to you that I'm worthy of you liking me.
Yes.
And so there's a lot of, I guess, just like exaggeration. Exaggeration. So that's like kind of backing up, bringing it back to like authenticity and knowing yourself. And I'm really good at I could really understand and see clearly how I define confidence. I can't as clearly.
Arrogance is nebulous. It's hard.
Define arrogance because what I first started thinking about was like, well, what's so wrong with arrogance? Until I started thinking about how people associate with arrogance. Because for me, I think if I'm confident and if I'm confident, I don't have to explain myself. And that is something for me that came with confidence.
Yeah, I totally
stopped
agree.
having to explain myself to any fucking buddy.
Yeah.
But that could be for me. But at the same time, I haven't gotten quiet, right?
Right.
Like I'm still loud and I'm still going to tell you how I feel about things. I got shit to say, so I decided to go on this podcast with you.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I do think I'm confident and I may be a little bit arrogant because I do have shit to say and I have no problem saying it.
But I feel like arrogance, even just the word itself, is a pejorative. Like there's no way to have the word arrogance like not mean something pejorative, like an over-explainy, egotistical, like you just said a word that was really like dead on for it for me, but I can't remember it now. But like, you know, so there's no version of arrogance where that doesn't conjure up egotistical for me. Yeah. So it's just kind of in its nature, it's a pejorative word. So I'm always going to think of it like that. And I do think that confidence is kind of the flip side of it, where it's just like, really, I think the best way for me is that kind of thing where confidence is internal. It doesn't necessarily mean it's that I'm quiet. It means that I speak up when I want to speak up, that I say what I want to say, that I don't owe anything to anyone, that I don't over-explain things to anyone. I do that. I used to do that at work a lot. That I don't over-explain things to anyone, but I like stand up for what's going on for me. And then arrogance would be more like the egotistical boost that I get from showing everyone in the room that I know what I'm talking about when I'm in a work meeting, right? Like that is... Love you guys.
Yeah.
You know, like I definitely have done that before. Getting into a battle of egos with people that I work with or with committees that come in or whatever, just to like make sure that they know that I know what's going on. So.
Yeah. And I think that kind of brings it to where I do think confidence is often associated, although I don't know if it's exclusive, that is associated with humility, whereas arrogance is associated, I guess, with the opposite of humility is arrogance is really what it is.
Yeah.
It's really not confidence versus arrogance because the opposite of arrogance is humility.
Yeah, I agree.
And I don't know that you have to be humble to be confident.
Yeah.
But you might, like, they might go hand in hand.
Right.
I don't really know.
But like,
I mean, I don't even know if I'm arrogant.
I don't think that you are.
Know what? I don't care.
I think that I actually think one of the things that's interesting is this concept of humility and confidence being tied to quietness.
Yeah.
And in some ways, and I don't think, I think that association has a long history. Like, I don't think it's something new. I don't think it's groundbreaking, but I don't think it's accurate. And so I think that the more and more that people like you and I show up and do stuff like this, or that woman does her podcast as well, where you just like show up and say what you have to say. I mean, that's true confidence, right? Like, there is not, we don't do anyone. Oh, now I'm going to get on a rant.
Well, we don't have to be right?
Right.
Because that's what confidence is.
Yeah.
We can come up here and like say what we think, and we don't have to be right.
Exactly.
Exactly. And I think that I see it at work, the battle of wills with the arrogant people is like they have to be right to the point that they will be dishonest to cover their ass.
Yeah.
When there might not be right.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I think that's really important too about confidence is the difference between, because I think that everything goes back to authenticity and learning and growing. And I think that there is something with confidence that if you are confident, like if I am confident and I know myself, then I'm listening and I'm learning, especially in the areas of taking feedback and growing.
Yeah.
And I do think that arrogance or whatever it is we're describing using the word arrogance excludes that. You can't because the pride, the egotism, it gets in the way of being open to learning and growing. Yeah. So I do associate confidence with the ability to learn and grow.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. That there is like willingness to be wrong means that I don't have to show up to this discussion and be right, which means I can be open-minded and I can, just like
listen and learn
and be assertive with like what my thoughts are on it and be okay if they're wrong or be okay if nobody agrees with them or whatever. What I was going down was kind of the next step to the quiet confidence snowball or rabbit hole, which is this idea that like, I think there are plenty, I think there are a lot of women that do this. I know I have done it as well, where it's like, I have an idea or I have some thoughts about something, but I'll keep it to myself because I don't want to rock the boat, because I don't want to like throw it out there because I'm a little worried about whether or not it's wrong. And like, we don't do anyone any favors when we stay quiet when we should be confident, by playing small. That's like a lot. There's like so much language around that right now. Like, don't play small, but get ready to play big. And I think that that's so important to just like, I like to add that on to this, why I don't like the concept of quiet confidence, because I think it kind of is like almost like a language wash for this idea of playing small, that in order to be confident you just have to sit there and be quiet,
or like or I'm confident so I don't need to like show up for that fight, when in fact there are some fights, especially right now in this current climate, that we do have to show up for. We have to show up with all our power, and a lot of times we can't do that quietly. I mean, sometimes we can, I mean, there are times when we can, but it's not all the time, and it's certainly not every personality.
Exactly. I feel like I'm a little bit of like an LA person right now. I'm like, no. Is
that an LA person?
I don't know. Where did I see that recently? I must have been. It might have been on an episode of BoJack Horseman. No. But I agree. And this is such a fascinating discussion.
What is it that the Dalai Lama said? He said something about like,
I definitely don't know.
I'm not going to remember. But he said,
I'm getting real serious. I definitely don't know.
I'm going to get real serious.
I'm going to lean forward. I'm going to look like I'm slouching. I don't even care. Being real serious.
No, it was something to what we were talking about. Our listeners are going to have to email me and remind me, jog my memory. But it's something about, it's about listening and learning. And it's about like, when we speak, we only are able to convey something we already know. But when we listen, we learn. And I think that that's like this high spiritual principle that's really important, right? About remaining teachable.
Yeah.
And I think it speaks to arrogance because it's like, you know, if you're just speaking the whole time, you're never opening to learning.
Right.
But I think like what we want to kind of add to that is a little nuance that like, no, sometimes a bitch's got to speak.
Sometimes you got to speak up.
Sometimes a bitch's got to speak up.
That might be next week's intro.
Yeah.
A podcast for a bitch who's got to speak up. Yes.
Yeah.
I like it. Well, it's like a fascinating thing to kind of deconstruct with you. And I love the complexity and dimension that we bring to having that discussion. And I think our readers will enjoy it. Readers. Oh,
shit.
Hey.
You better get busy writing.
I better get busy.
Publishing.
Editing. We're editing right now. But yeah, I think our listeners are going to love that. And I hope that if you love it, you let us know.
Well, can I ask you something real quick?
Yeah.
So after having that conversation, we've totally broke it down. We totally get it. We're like
basically
scholars
experts
of confidence versus arrogance.
Yeah.
What do you think about Kanye West?
I mean, Kanye West is challenging, and here's why. Because he also, I think you and I both agree that he has some mental illness that's untreated. Right.
Right.
So with untreated mental illness,
there's
grandiosity, right?
Take the mental illness off the table.
Take the mental illness.
Say we're just like middle America who just sees this black man coming up on stage talking shit on poor white girl.
Sorry,
I had to throw a little bit of commentary in there. I'm sorry. Just say we don't know about his mental illness. Say that's off the table.
I feel like I'm not confident in my answer around this. See what I did there? See how I brought it back around? I think that he has, well, the other thing I will say is that to give myself a hedge.
You're just working really hard at this.
It's taking me a minute. To give myself a hedge, I would like to say that maybe there's a little bit of both going on, right? That it's not all arrogance or all confidence.
Right.
I am tempted to be like, you know what? It's just arrogance, right? Because he just likes to let people know. He just wants to let people know what he thinks.
Yeah, I mean, he says he's great. He says he's a god.
Yeah,
I mean,
so there's so much ego and pride involved that I'm tempted to just say, like, this is just arrogance. Like, I don't think that. But the other thing about that, here's the next piece of it, is that, like, it is also it could potentially also be stage persona.
Yeah.
Right? So maybe this is just Kanye on the platform.
Right.
So maybe Kanye off the platform is like just a regular, confident, regular guy, right? But that like the Kanye show requires the rants, the explaining, the, you know, the devices, like all the stuff, you know? So
I mean, isn't he just a like over the top though example of what it takes to be a celebrity, a movie star, a sports, like a famous professional athlete, all these like people that we put into these positions where we're paying them a lot of money so that like the public will love them. And even you could include surgeons with this too. Like they have to be confident, and then there's always a swagger of arrogance too. And there's certain personalities that are a little bit of both.
Right.
And that might actually be okay.
Yeah.
Like it's another piece of just like humanity. And especially like in the context of surgeons, like I definitely like know that some surgeons can be total arrogant jackasses. And it's just kind of like, well, they, you know, you have to have a level of confidence that is so high to get in there and to cut into somebody else's brain.
Yeah, or body or whatever.
It might spill over into a little arrogance.
might be hard to keep it compartmentalized. Right,
oh,
you stay over here.
I don't got to live with Kanye.
Yeah.
I don't got to like live with the guy.
I agree.
Like, why don't, like, you know, maybe it's just another one of those human things that we aren't perfect. We can't be fit into a box. And sometimes we may, you know, spill over into something that sounds a little bit less desirable because we call it arrogance.
Yeah. No, I love that. That's great.
Yeah.
What a way to wrap it up nicely. Put
a
a little bow on it.
Boo.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. Well, that's our show for the evening. Do you have anything else you want to add before we head out of here?
I don't think I do.
I love it. I just got to say one more time, I'm so stoked that we're partnering with Adorn. I'm happy to be wearing wardrobe. We have wardrobe, people. This is very exciting. We want you to have the wardrobe too. So if you want to shop these looks, you can go to shopadorn.com. Use your promo code AllGoldPod for 10% discount.
And don't
Sandy's feeling
herself.
herself.
Of mother jeans that are this print too, because I was eyeballing.
Oh, that's right. They do. They have the sweater.
Mother jeans.
Okay, so Sandy's sweatshirt is the brand Mother, and they have a pair of Mother jeans that is also leopard print. If you're into that, yeah. And this, I can't remember what the brand is, but they have a bunch of items. Johnny was, and they're all like embroidered pieces. It's beautiful. So anyway, we love our listeners for listening to us. We will be here next week. In the meantime, we're sending you lots of love and light and gold from Portland, and we are reminding you to
stay vigilant. Stay vigilant.
Stay vigilant. Don't sleep. Keep one eye open. They're gonna want to know exactly what time you heard the noise. They're gonna know exactly when you heard the branch scratch the window. I mean, that is like